Hello everybody. Thanks for joining us for part 2 of the final round of the Minnesota Majestic. We got the coverage brought to you by Par Save Productions. Got a heck of a lead card here. See some drone shots of the East Bethel, Minnesota area. Kevin Jones continuing to tear up this tournament right now. Got a sizable lead. If you joined us on part 1, you saw a lot of par 4s. And now we're coming into a stretch where we have 6 straight par 3s here to start the part 2. So this is a good opportunity to get on a roll and get some 2s. And we're starting here with the stump hole.
Good old stump hole. Kevin turning it over. It looks like he's fighting through the trees a lot. There's actually 2 gaps on this hole, but one is the main gap, the primary gap that you want to take, and that's through the trees off to the left. But there is a gap off to the left, or to the right. It looks like you're taking there. But there is a lot more trees to kind of maneuver through when you go to the left.
Yeah, if you play to that right side, you're kind of
to the right,
taking a little bit of a risk. I mean, there is just a few small trees, but if you throw with enough speed and miss them all, you're definitely going to get up there for a putt.
Yeah.
Matt Bell's hitting one of the last trees to beat, but it looks like he's going to be about 50 feet, which is obviously well inside his range. Looks like Matt Orum's opting for a fairway driver here. And he just sprayed this one right. That was pretty uncharacteristic. There is out of bounds on the right side, but I think he was able to get past that. So, but definitely not his finest shot. Look at that. He has a narrow little gap to get up.
Wow. Just about puts it in, too.
And here's Matt Bell from his happy place, just outside the circle 1.
And, of course, he makes the jump.
No
Look at
doubt.
the casual walk down. Like it's nothing.
No doubt.
Even though that it's, put up on that stump, it may not look that high, but when you get into the putting green, it does play a significant role. And Kevin looked like he just chained out.
And yeah, I was able to get up to pin high through that backdoor route with just a little putt through the woods here. Able to jam it through there. And yeah, with Kevin having a 9-stroke lead coming into this hole, it's pretty much now or never if you want to make a run at this title.
Yeah, I got to catch some strokes here.
And what you just heard in the background, that's the chase card was always, a hole or 2 in front of us, and we could hear a lot of cheers coming from that card, so we knew that there was obviously a lot of big putts getting hit over there as well. Got the infamous BRP wood carving on the stump hole. You can see Matt and I having a nice little battle for second place. He was hitting so many big putts. I thought he was already leading the tournament at this point.
Right. Hole 11, par 3. It's only 250 feet, but this 250 feet is really pretty difficult. I mean, if you get off the fairway, there's all those OB stakes all the way around going down the fairway there. And there's OB long on this. So it's really a touch putter turnover or a nice touch forehand shot.
Yeah, you got to get out of the gap.
Yeah.
If you hit early, you're almost certainly going to land out of bounds and have to go to the drop zone. So you got to get out that gap where it really opens up. But then if you run this basket and go too deep, you got out of bounds about 20, 25 behind the basket as well. So Matt Bell throwing the inside forehand line, which is super tough. You never see anyone do that.
I usually see him go on the outside for the forehand, but opting for the inside forehand gap, and it still lands okay.
And look at this. Lands on the path.
That.
If you hit early on this one, you're
rarely
almost
ever
guaranteed
happens.
to go out of bounds. And
Yep.
he was able to stick on the path. So
Wow.
Kevin Jones keeping the good juju going here at the Majestic.
BRP showing some love for him.
I like that by Matt. Nice little one-step throw on that off the
Yep.
tee. Make sure you hit that gap. So you can see that's the drop zone right in front of Kevin where you have to play if you go out of bounds anywhere off the tee shot. And he was fortunate enough to stay on the path.
Cale here for his birdie putt.
Yeah, I got like a 35-footer. Got a right to left wind on this, which is a little bit scary with my putt because you got OB so close behind it. Oh, gosh.
Just kept it a little too low there.
You're not going to win the Majestic with that putt. It doesn't look like. You got to get that up. Yeah, it's tough. You can hear the wind in the camera. He had a little headwind coming at his face, even though these super heavy flags aren't moving that much. The wind is definitely out there once you get in the open. There's a nice stab at it from Matt.
Yeah, I mean, the whole first 10 holes at BRP is definitely in the woods. This is the first one that you actually get to see open field. On the green is definitely going to be a little bit more difficult because of the wind.
Yeah, the Jordan family who owns BRP, they have a few different businesses, but one of them is the sod company. So these fields used to all be for sod, and before it got turned into a disc golf course about 15 years ago.
Yeah, definitely got to give it up to the Jordan family. Even Ray's dad was out there day and night, it seemed like, rolling out the sod, making it look beautiful for us.
So Matt Bell on a relatively short hole for the course, getting the only birdie on the hole. Kevin was fortunate to save a par on that one. It looks like me and Matt got a little battle for second place going right now. This is a very difficult hole. It's within the range of all of us, but what Ray did here was made a lot of little out of bounds pockets. As you can see, these bushes on the right, that's a big circle of out of bounds. If you miss too far left, that's out of bounds. Everything deep is all OB as well, so you got to be really precise with this shot if you want to land in bounds. Some people will choose to play a little bit safer and lay up. If you do go out, anywhere you go, you're going to a drop zone. And you can see my mom right there. Didn't know that she was in danger. Better watch out, Angie. And it looked like Matt Bell kind of sawed that one off, but he was lucky to find a little space over there that's safe. Kevin Jones throwing a power forehand.
Wow.
And that is very nice. I think he's going to have about, 40, 45 feet.
Death putt jumper there. Got the OB right behind him too, so.
I'm throwing an M4 on this one. I like to throw a mid-range because I know if I throw it full power, it's going to be tough for me to make the OB deep.
Right.
And this was the line I just loved right out the gate.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's how we do it. I don't know why my mom's still standing back there, but
She wanted front row seat at her son's throw.
she was ready to kick it if it was going out of bounds.
Right. Mario throwing a forehand.
Just ripping on one. Yeah, he sawed that one off, and if you hit those bushes, you're not likely to get through that so thick. So this is Matt trying to save his par from the drop zone. Yeah, he's been a little bit off. We still got about half the round left, so expect him to make an adjustment and start throwing down some long putts like we're accustomed to seeing from him. Yes, he did.
I knew it. Golly. That dude is incredible.
Man, they all look the exact same, don't they?
Yeah.
If he's deep from 50, 60 feet like that one, he just gets a little more height on it, and that's a thing of beauty right there. We're all starting to be pretty amazed by this point.
Wow. Like dudded.
Yeah, it's hard to get strokes on these boys when they're throwing them in from everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll just keep trying to park holes.
And that's all you can do. Matt picking up a bogey on that, unfortunately.
There we go. Here's a putt I can hit.
Hey-oh. Crowd love that 2-footer.
We got another wood sculpture there, the yin and the yang. A lot of character out on this course. Hole 13. We're throwing, this hole is tucked far into the left. It's a par 3, very difficult to 2 though. We got this ditch in the middle of the fairway with some water in it. That's all out of bounds. We had a pretty decent wind for this hole. It was slightly right to left, so you really want to get one out nice and wide. The mistake on this one that you see a lot is people sawing it off and getting clipped by those trees.
Yep.
Otherwise, if you try to power it too far, you can actually go out of bounds deep. The whole backside of the fairway is lined. And Matt has a very good shot on that, just a little bit tight.
As you can see. You can hear, just clip the backside there.
Kevin with a ton of hyzer power.
Wow.
That was a very good shot.
Yeah, that was definitely a great shot.
It takes a lot of power to get to this one. 425 feet on a straight hyzer line is obviously quite the distance.
I definitely try and get a lot into it, you know. Maybe not 100%, but
yeah, buddy.
Man, I thought that was perfect, but you could see I just clipped those trees and got a little bit of a backward reaction off them. You don't want to be too far on this putt because you have out of bounds about 15 feet from the basket, so you want to get as close to this basket as possible.
you can hear the gallery and the crowd behind us. It's because of that. That's where that bar and grill is, right in the middle there. So
Yeah, this hole I think is called Angie's fault because
yeah, she loves to say stuff.
even when she tries to whisper, it's loud. So.
Yeah. Wow, there he is. I'm gonna say this once and one time only for Matt. Roll Tide. Attaboy.
Super tough putt. You got OB so close. I'm just a little bit left of Matt, and I got these branches kind of hanging down in front of me, so I'm trying to get one nose up here. Just couldn't get the distance on that one. Matt Bell from his automatic range.
And of course, dude.
This is starting to get ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah,
We got
I mean,
about
honestly, it's just like when he's like 50, 60 out, it's like move along because you already know he's going to make it,
yeah,
seems like.
at this point, I was kind of trying to tell the crowd, you better watch this because this is going in every time.
Yeah.
There we go, Kev. Great bird. That's tough. Difficult hole, and I'm the only one to take par on this one. go a little flip-flop with Matt jumping up into solo second now. Still 8 strokes behind Kevin.
You guys been definitely battling it out back and forth.
And now we're coming up on the pit hole. We got a tight gap. You have a few different options. You can go straight at it to the right. A lot of people will play it left too on a pure turnover line. A lot of trees to hit early, but if you hit your line and commit to it, it should be a fairly easy 2 for a lot of the top pros.
He did change it, the hole just like maybe 5 feet to the right, so you can actually see it off the tee pad now. It's still in the bowl.
That's a nice touch, yeah.
Yeah, but now it's more of a straight at it gap. You know, in the past it was an Annie gap, but now it's cleaned up on the right side, and you can actually run it right down the middle at it.
Yeah, at this point, Matt's got to be just thinking, get it anywhere close to the basket, and it's a birdie.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he hits early on this one. It's going to have a little bit of an upshot to get up. Kevin also yanks it just a little bit right. If he gets that another few feet left, that's money, but... And this choice by Matt, excuse me, surprised me a little bit that he opted to go forehand on this one. I feel like with how straight he can throw the disc, I thought maybe a putter shot was coming.
There's that S-curve line. You have to get through a little bit more tighter gap than what it is. But there is a forehand line there.
Yeah, I'm throwing my 400 PA3 right there and a little bit of a slight Anheuser at the hand. And getting myself in the circle there. You can see all these guys are kind of in difficult spots. If you don't make some progress up the fairway, you get into some weird spots that you never really practice from.
Just wants it to settle down.
At this point, Kevin's got to just, minimize the mistakes and take a victory lap home. So you definitely don't want to take any unnecessary bogeys coming into this.
Put it on cruise control right now.
Yeah.
Is it going in?
So Maddie trying to save par from just outside the circle.
Yeah.
There you go, baby.
Starting to get those long distance dialed in.
Yeah, you can see Kev is, it looks like he's just on circle's edge too.
Oh.
And that one was just left. Man, that is not a hole you want to bogey at all right there.
No.
So I'm feeling good about myself. I got this nice drive inside the circle, but I get up to my shot, and I got this tree perfectly in the middle of the chains. Having to stretch out and try to get funky here and pretty much throw this putter vertical.
Still makes the putt though.
Yeah, I could only see like the right half of the chains right there. Was able to stick one.
Oh yeah, just kind of like that right there.
Yeah, at this point I wasn't really looking at scores or anything. I knew that Kevin had a sizable lead, but getting 2 strokes on a hole like this will at least breathe a little bit of life into it. Anything can happen on this course.
Right.
As you see the bowl hole.
The famous bowl hole.
Now we're coming up on another par 3. This one is known as the hanging basket. If you have a good forehand shot on this, it's pretty ideal because it'll always skip right to the basket. It's a low ceiling, and for For a right-handed backhanded player, it's tough. You know,
Very
you
tough.
want to get yourself to circle's edge, just inside the circle, but it's hard to get inside this wood green unless you have that forehand skip shot.
Yep.
So I'm throwing my PA4,
Trying to
a
keep it
decent
up,
line, but just had it turning a little bit early and unfortunately caught one of those guardian trees, one of the many. I wanted to push that a little bit wider, but I should still have a look.
You know that pole that's off to the left there, right in the middle of the gap that you got to hit. It was a tree at one point, and then it actually fell over in a storm, I believe.
Yep.
And Ray, he put that pole back there because it makes it makes the hole almost, you know, right off the drive.
Yeah, so just like with hole 2, he
Yeah.
he
Yep.
took it upon himself and put a big wooden pole in there that simulates the tree and forces the shot that he wanted, which is that's pretty cool. And Matty Orum shows you how you want to play this hole. Textbook. Kevin's got a great forehand too. It looks like he is following suit.
Even with great drives, you know, you got to make a pretty decent putt on this elevated hanging basket here.
Yeah, and I'm about 55 feet and just didn't quite commit and still go about 30 deep, which is scary because you're always putting back up at the basket, obviously.
Day one, that basket was moving
from
by
the
itself.
wind.
Yeah, by itself for a while.
So Matt, from about the same distance as me, about 55 feet.
You got to be kidding
sir.
me, dude. Seriously.
I think after this round, we're going to have to add up his putting distance. As you could hear someone in the crowd just say that was the best they've ever seen.
Yeah. Check him.
At this point,
Check
it's
him
starting
for
to get
roids
ridiculous.
or something, dude. He's doing something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There you go, Kev.
Little play in the chains, but sticks in there.
It's always nice to putt first on this because the basket's usually not moving as
Yeah,
much.
right.
You can see it's got a little bit of a sway to it. And if I remember correct, yeah, Matt's waiting it off. You can hear there's a gun range that's a couple farms over from here, so you sometimes have a little bit of noise to deal with.
It's all right, though. Matty makes that putt.
Yeah, so these guys are all getting there too, and I got about a 25 footer to try to save my par. Able to clean that up, luckily.
If I'm the first one to putt on that one, I like to push the basket a little bit just to mess with him. No, I steady it for him. But
Yeah, a lot of times when we're playing casual rounds on that one, we'll just leave the putters in the basket and make everyone fill it up before we grab any of them. Hole 16. This one's a beast.
Yep.
We got another man-made pond here. Plays right in the middle of the fairway. You got a tight gap that you need to get over. Put yourself to about here, ideally. And then you have the upshot through these trees, out into the open. There's usually some wind waiting out there for you, so you want to put this upshot as close as possible, but this is one of the more intimidating drives in the whole course right here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also once you get through that gap, you don't want to have your disc hyzer off too far left because they do have poles going down the left side there for OB.
Yeah, so it's super demanding. You want to finish just dead straight.
Yeah, I mean, I've had drives where I've pimped the gap, you know, going down 400 feet, and then all of a sudden come up there and it's up on the
Skips out of bounds
on the left side, and you're like, oh my gosh.
And we got Kevin here opting for the forehand, which you don't see a whole lot. And look at that.
Did it
You
stick?
can't see it yet, but he actually stuck into the bank
So
about
soft.
6 inches safe.
So soft, and he threw it hard into it.
I got my H3 V2 here, just a nice straight fairway driver, and was able to just throw it exactly where I wanted.
You're definitely loving those H series.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They just feel so good in the hand. Very trusty.
I mean, they're so straight. So, I mean, BRP is the one that you want to have the straightest discs on.
So Kevin, after sticking it into the bank safe, if he would have been in the pond, he would have had to go back to a drop zone, but luckily he was safe and had to play a pretty impressive forehand.
Wow, yeah. Got all the way out.
He's still a little ways from the basket, but from where he was, that's a very good shot. On this very difficult par 4, which is the theme out here. Matty O.
Yeah.
Also from far back, throwing a fantastic shot. I was kind of in between putter and mid-range here, and I decided to power up on a putter a little bit. And I threw it out this gap and thought the wind was going to help turn it a little bit, but it leaked on me a little bit left.
Matt Bell in pretty good position right here.
Yeah,
Gonna
for
chip
sure.
one up.
He's been leaning on his forehand a lot, so you feel like he's in a good spot to get up and down for a birdie.
Gets a little skip.
Yes, sir. So Kevin putting back at the elevated tee pad. The beautiful BRP. Yeah, you could tell out of his hand he floated that one a little bit. I have about the same distance as he had, just coming back at the basket. Trying to will that one left, but just wide.
KJ got a little something left on it.
Ooh. Yeah, we've seen a couple little hiccups from him in the last few holes. He's going to have to regroup if he wants to give himself a fairly easy victory after having such a strong lead. Especially with Matt Bell banging everything,
Yeah,
and getting the birdie and 2 more strokes on him.
You feel like if he brings out that putter, it's automatic now.
Yeah.
Matty O just tapping in for his bird, making that upshot look very easy.
Yeah, look at that. Such a tough tee shot. I don't know if the video does it justice how hard that is. You can get a birdie 3 on this one. You're getting strokes on a lot of people.
Yep.
Including the leader. What do we got here? Poli.
Poli. Pretty straightforward. Just an island shot. But being out in the open like that, it's got some wind to mess with, and
yeah, you have to put it on the circle green, or you go to the drop zone. And Ray Jordan, on one of his disc golf trips to Hawaii, played a hole that was this exact distance. So he came back here to BRP and cut it out himself and put it on his course BRP. So this one. That's why we call this one Poli. Matt Bell. Pretty uncharacteristic shot for him. That thing never had a chance to even make it in. He's going to be going to the drop zone.
It looked like it just kind of slipped out of his hands.
Matt Orum throwing a nice 300 Series A2, which is very soft and likes to just stick right next to the basket.
Great shot by Matt.
And I'm throwing the exact same disc, exact same color as Matt right here. Like to lean on my A2 for shots that like to finish left and then stick next to the basket.
Nice check up.
I think I landed on Matt's disc too.
Yeah.
That's why I like that disc so much, is because it never really likes to skip at all. It just sticks wherever it lands because it's so soft and gummy. We got Kevin throwing a more direct route with with this PA2. That's how it's done. Matt's been pretty much automatic from this range, but this is a little difficult because if you miss this, if you don't hit any metal, you're definitely going out of bounds off this putt. Unless you miss it low and he stays in on the backside.
Was that the first jumper that he's missed, though?
I think so.
Jeez.
A very short hole, but one that you feel really good about getting a 2 on because you know it's either a 2 or a 4 pretty much.
Yeah, I actually feel really great getting a 2 on
yeah.
it, you know? Because even if you make the island short, you know, you have a big putt going at it with OB right behind it.
Absolutely.
So.
And Ray put this basket up, not super elevated, but it's definitely about 8 to 12 inches higher than it normally is. So
yeah.
Makes you commit to a putt, and as you can see here, it's either a 2 or a 4.
Get these awesome shots of every hole. I love it.
Kevin Jones getting 2 strokes back from Matt Bell, extending his lead from 5 back to 7 strokes, which is a nice little cushion as we come into the last 10 holes of the tournament. And as you can see from a couple holes previous, we're throwing from an elevated tee pad here. This one's called the driving range hole because you can see your distance everywhere you are on this fairway. They have a perfectly placed ditch. That's what, about 430 feet off the tee pad, that if you throw a good drive, you could still land right in this ditch. It's just a perfect distance, and you see Matt unfortunately clips that bush and stays out of bounds. Here, I chose to just play the layup shot, try to get myself within about 40 feet of the ditch because I'm not, I don't have as much distance as Kevin Jones does, and it's easier for me to go for one, get a little bit low, and put it in the ditch. So I feel like if I put it in a good spot, I can still get up and down for a 3. So this year I chose to lay up. Kevin Jones
doesn't look like he wants to lay up.
he doesn't know how. You got Dan Reynoso calling for 550, and he clears with ease.
Oh, man. Well over.
That was awesome. That's well over 500 feet right there on a hyzer flip line. It's a very wide open hole, which, sometimes can be a little bit boring or mundane, but the way this out of bounds ditch is placed, you really have to make a decision if you're going to go for it or lay up. And then,
and if you lay up,
and if you get closer to the basket, he's got an OB island in front and right of the basket, so it's a perfect distance. So now, if you're a little bit out of position, you got to say, am I going to go for this or am I going to try to play it left? And Bell decides to just rip one. And look at that, pushes right through out of bounds and lands just safe, and he's inside the circle for birdie.
Excellent shot. He definitely committed to that one, though.
I'm throwing the same disc, trying to power up on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just clear. And for where I'm standing, I can't even see where I landed, so I'm kind of going off the crowd.
That's about every time you're right around that area. I always look over at the island hole to see if I was in bounds or not.
And you see where Matt Orum is throwing from. He went out of bounds in the ditch, but with the new PDGA rule this year where you can go back as far as you want away from the basket if you throw out of bounds, he chose to use that, so that bush was right in his face, which was very wise. So if you're watching this and you don't know that rule, that could save you some strokes in the future for sure. And Kevin is so far up there, he's throwing an A2, which is a very slow disc up to the basket, which is something I've never had the luxury of doing.
Never. Unless I'm like his doubles partner or something, maybe.
Matty O putting back at the crowd.
Yeah.
Count it. Great par save after going OB. If you throw out of bounds on this hole, whether off the drive or your upshot, it's pretty much a guaranteed 5. So that's well done, Matt. And Kevin just didn't get that putt up, obviously. Yes, sir. Matt Bell knows what to do from that range. Getting a nice birdie after being slightly out of position off the drive, actually. So that was a great bird.
Getting a stroke back from Poli.
Yeah, there we go. Looks like Matt and I are both getting a stroke back, getting a little bit closer to that lead. And we got some very difficult holes coming up. In part 3, we got the final 9 holes of the Majestic. Hopefully you guys can join us for that. As you can see, we all got some strong rounds going. Kevin Jones with the 6-stroke lead. We'll catch you guys in the next one.
See ya.